Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back on another video from Noob Taku. This is a weird one, and I'm just going to put this out there. This was recommended by one of my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of the video, link in the description of the Patreon page, $1 a month, and I will pay attention to, I will prioritise your requests over everybody else. This is something I wanted to react to like a year ago, but I was in the process of like moving to here, so it just didn't happen. And so Vince has suggested that I check out this Noob vs Pro vs God anime main characters, and I'm going to. So yeah, crazy. I actually want to check this out, forgot about it, and yeah, this is nearly a year old because I wanted to check it out a year ago. Duh. Let's get into it. When it loads up. Whoa. Yeah, I've been here like a year now nearly.
I hate main characters.
Oh, okay.
Suck, okay?
Yeah, side characters are better.
Almost always better than the main characters.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was in the middle of working on a script for a long analysis video talking about why I hate main characters.
Okay.
And I decided, you know what? If I made that general sweeping video, well, I wouldn't be able to go ahead and do something that I think YouTube desperately needs.
And that's...
opinions.
Oh.
That's right. A terrifying landscape where everyone's too afraid by their own shadow.
This is weird. Like Noob has his old like AniTuber, no, his VTuber persona thing now.
Gamers, welcome to Noob vs Pro vs God, a new series that I'm kickstarting on my channel.
Cool.
The target of this video being anime protagonists.
Whoa.
In case it's not self-explanatory enough, I am going to be talking about these three categories. Noob, essentially boring-ass main characters.
Whoa.
Pro, good main characters.
Okay.
Not necessarily la creme de la creme S tier. And then there's God tier, anime protagonists as it sounds. Pretty straightforward.
Right,
stuff.
so we got Light there.
Why I'm doing this video, partially because
He is a
it's
really
fun
interesting main
format,
character, though, to be
also
fair.
because I get to roast a lot of people's favorite things, and then they get upset.
Ooh,
and then
opinions,
they
opinions.
weird
Let's offend
because
people.
try to make relevant straw man arguments as to why I'm evil, but I'm gonna be striking y'all down with facts and logic.
Okay.
Because you should definitely like and subscribe as well.
Oh,
as
I feel nostalgic watching like a Noob video like this.
Versus God format. I think it's beautiful.
Oh,
I'm excited
so
to talk
beautiful.
about Noob versus Pro versus God
Ooh.
YouTubers. That won't get me in trouble at all. In the meantime, when it comes to Noob protagonists, it doesn't necessarily mean that the protagonist is terrible. It just means that it just barely does everything required of it.
That it's meant to, yeah.
There are many categories of
I've been talking about Zoolander a lot recently at work. That's definitely.
Probably one of the most iconic anime characters of all time, Goku. Because I hate to say it, but he definitely falls into the Noob category.
Oh God.
He's a normie. He's boring. Why is it that every protagonist needs to be so bland that they can't have intricate goals and philosophies or ideologies?
I suppose Goku does just want to fight.
Down version of whatever they are in their
The
world.
Broly movie
Like,
was
for
so good.
example, Goku or Naruto or Asta, they all fall into this same slump. A bunch of characters that are good characters, because I genuinely like Naruto and Asta, unlike Goku. But they definitely fall into the Noob category because they're inspiring to the people around them and want to be the best that they could be. And I hate to say it, but that's boring. Other examples.
Everyone else is more interesting than them. Yeah,
the same way are like Natsu from Fairy Tail. Look, I am one of the few people on YouTube that actually likes Fairy Tail.
You love Fairy Tail.
But Natsu, oh God, just kill me now. The dude has the personality of a toaster. I don't
Damn, that ain't much.
Why do all protagonists have to be so boring? Now, I want to talk about other protagonists that fall into the Noob category briefly, just so you don't think that these are the only ones that I'm mentioning. One of my least favorite protagonists of popular shonen is Deku from My Hero Academia. And
he is boring, man.
Of course, I appreciate greatly. Thank you all. Thank you.
I need to watch the last season, actually.
Now
that
masochistic bones are fully erect and ready to tussle.
Woo,
But this category is the moral Jesus category. Obviously, there's overlap between my different categories in the grand Noob group, but the moral Jesus category is a category I hate because I don't like looking at a person that's perfect on a moral standpoint. That will never go and do something purely because he wants to do it. That will never let his
super wuff.
clash with the noble thing that he is doing. I hate those people so much. They're not realistic. I don't relate to them. I am
not interesting.
I'm not going to start relating to the absolute pinnacle of morality. The only thing I'm hoping for is that Deku gets nailed to a cross sooner or later.
Oh God, damn.
Sick ending of My Hero Academia. But the fact of that happening is extraordinarily unlikely. Now, other characters that fall into this subgroup of Noob protagonists, Jonathan Joestar from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1. The main reason why I think Part 1 is the weakest part from JoJo's is because Jonathan is by far the boring
He
JoJo compared to the
is.
pizzazz of
Yeah,
JoJo.
soon. Yeah, I suppose as you go on, they are more interesting. Yeah.
Of Josuke and the suave
Oh,
confidence
Jono.
of Giorno. Jonathan sucks. He's just a nice dude. Why
Yeah, he
a
is.
nice dude? Because that's what he is. He likes to beat up bad guys and save the women, and it's
He's
just,
very moral,
I'm
isn't he?
rooting
Yes.
for him. I
Like,
was literally
yes.
rooting against him
The
every single
gentleman.
fight he got into. He's the most boring character in his entire story
Aww.
arc, aside from his girlfriend. But let's not talk about Whammon and Shonen. But we'll do Shonen, Whammon, Noob versus Pro versus God, maybe in the
I don't think he
future,
did another one of these, though, did he?
I'm gonna definitely get in trouble for that one. But what I'm trying to say is, Jonathan Joestar is just an upstanding gentleman. that
This
does
was
the right thing
near,
at the right
like,
time
when he
all the
stopped
time.
doing his anime
And
stuff,
that's
wasn't
also
it?
why I hate Shiro Emiya from Fate Stay Night. He's also a new protagonist.
Yeah.
Shiro is the worst part
Arch
of
is the more
Fate Stay Night.
interesting
Hero's a
side of him, isn't it?
Kirisuga's amazing. Maybe
Kirisuga.
we'll talk about it soon. Wink, wink. But
Oh,
Fate Stay Night,
mate.
those of you that are not caught up with the lore, don't worry. I'm not gonna be spoiling anything. Me spoiled? No, never. My biggest complaint is that Shiro is a master, and in Fate Stay Night, every master summons a servant to
Yes.
fight on their behalf. So Shiro summons a servant who happens to be a Whammon, immediately becoming his waifu. And he becomes a huge simp. And then, whenever his servant is about to take damage, Shiro selflessly sacrifices
I'll jump in the way.
Oh, I can't let you be hurt. Oh my god, you piece of trash. That's exactly what you summoned her for.
Yeah.
God, he goes to sacrifice
That's so funny.
all the time. He ends up
Her purpose
ruining
is to
things
fight for you.
very often
That's
because
the
they
whole
can't
idea,
afford to
yeah.
lose the master. That's ridiculous. No,
If you
the
die, then
selfless
she
thing
goes.
will push forward and eventually get really stupid hack superpowers in middle of the story because he wants to be a hero fighting for justice. It's stupid. I hate Shiro. Tanjiro's also a moral Jesus of a protagonist.
Yeah.
God, Demon Slayer's a great story. It looks beautiful. I like a lot about it. But Tanjiro wants to save his sister, and everything he does is to save his sister. He doesn't even get caught up in the difficulties of the world he inhabits. Why? Because he ends up relating to every single demon.
That's true, actually. Every time it's like,
Tragic backstory.
oh, I'm so sorry, I have to kill you.
Where they could be at rest. God damn it, man! Blow a fuse. Why have to be so nice all the time? Man, I wish your earrings were like Nazi symbols or something. That would make you a better character. And also, Ichigo from Bleach. I guess
There was an
he
issue
fall in
with
this
that, though,
category.
wasn't
Now,
there?
I like Ichigo a lot more than Shiro, Deku, Tanjiro, Jonathan.
Yeah, but he's
I do
still...
think he falls into the noob category of protagonist because the story of his life is so centered on saving a different person that requires
Yes.
his assistance.
We
to the
must
point
get to
that
the
I
tower and
relate
save the
to him
princess.
at all. Yes, he has a lot of badass scenes. Yes, he struggles with his hollow thingy, and that's
Hollow
part of the
thingy.
character. But the driving factor for every single story arc is him selflessly throwing himself into the pit of hell to save the people around him. I don't like people that selflessly throw themselves in the pit of hell to save people around them, okay? I wouldn't do it, and neither should every protagonist. Protagonists are just boring. I wait for selfish
I wouldn't
assholes.
do it, so...
Selfish assholes get me, man.
That's
Anywho,
hilarious.
another little subcategory of new protagonists that's already making every enemy on the planet.
Yeah, here we go.
Self-insert protagonists.
Ah.
Now, I hate self-insert protagonists for a very simple reason. They want every single viewer to be able to insert themselves into the protagonist. So they work their
Ooh.
absolute hardest to dumb down the character as much as they possibly can. Because if the character has no personality, well then it doesn't conflict with the viewer's personality, and the viewer can just be like, oh,
Oh,
my God,
that is so
what?
relatable.
This character's
I could be him.
personality traits matches mine exactly. Which is why we're going to be playing a bit of a game for the next little
Okay,
category.
go on, let's
I'm
go.
going to name a protagonist, and you're going to tell me in what way you don't want to be him.
Huh.
First, we have Kirito from Sword Art Online. What's his personality?
Huh.
I would say
Huh.
his personality is cool, heroic. That's his whole personality, ladies and gentlemen. He also gets whammon. He's also overpowered. He also saves the day. He also lives his dream. That puts Kirito into the noob slot. Issei from
Definitely.
PhD gets the whammon. I may not be a chef, but I'm about to stuff me this turkey. He's overpowered. That's his whole personality. Moving on. You see where I'm going
Yes,
with this?
wait for it.
Characters like
Great.
Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, I understand you may not exactly want his hairdo, and if that is the case,
Whoa.
it's extremely weak.
Whoa.
His hairdo will never get you laid. It is the ultimate to-get laid hairstyle. It works 83% of the
It
time,
looks
and
sick.
I say that from personal experience. But he wins the fights, he has all the clout, the whammon love him, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Senku from Dr. Stone. Now, he's more interesting just because the world of Dr. Stone forces him to be more interesting.
Yeah.
Where IQ is basically the battle system. He's an overpowered protagonist. Do you see where I'm going with this? Do you see what I'm trying to say here? The self-insert slot for protagonists doesn't make an interesting character. It is the most bargain basement cheap trick of a character that you can actually get people to love. And then, of course, the final little category of noob protagonists. Pussy. I don't know why there's this massive draw to create an absolute bitch of a protagonist and have everyone oh my god, I love the like Shinji from Evangelion and Teru from Future Diary, the ultimate bitch protagonists. They're scared of everything. And you know what? At least we get to see them grow. We get to see them go from a little bitch to someone way cooler. Spoilers, I lied to you. That doesn't happen.
No.
He sort of mans up at certain points, and then he's just, you know, sitting in a urinal.
And then he's like, okay, never mind. Oops.
For the world to blow up. God, these guys are annoying. Anyway, these are all the noob category of protagonists. And this is the part that, like, I'm happy for you to focus on because, you know, I'm always super excited.
Now we go to the pros? We're going pros? Noob pro?
Presenting people with
Thank
my
God.
takes is one of the reasons why I have takes. Ladies and gentlemen, if that's not the truth, I don't know what is.
Whoop,
But yeah, that's the noob category. Moving on to the pro
Yay,
category.
pros!
Protagonists.
There we go.
See, these are all good protagonists, the ones that I'm about to mention. But they follow very, very strict guidelines. They don't blow the envelope away.
Okay.
They're all good protagonists, but that's only as a protagonist. It doesn't make them an unbelievable character altogether. It's just doing what they can with the tools at their
They're
disposal.
given,
An
okay.
obvious example for something like this is character development. Character development is something that's extremely important, and having a character that you can understand how they got from point A in episode 1 to point Z in the final episode, and seeing all the mental twists and turns that crafted and changed the character from the beginning.
I still haven't watched the final season of Game of Thrones, and I refuse to.
I personally think crucial to every protagonist. So if a protagonist actually does that really well, that puts them in the pro category, because at the end of the day, it is necessary when it comes to building a protagonist.
Okay, yeah.
Examples of this that I can think of off the top of my head, easy ones, Hinata from Haikyuu, Meliodas from Seven Deadly Sins.
Okay.
The dude goes from this gleeful person that can't accept his emotions to a character that begins to turn to his friends and starts to overcome his suffering. How we see how he broke, how he quelled his feelings down, how he eventually learned to accept them and accept loss. Someone like Shinichi from Parasite, I
Ooh.
think, is the ideal character development.
Yeah, I give you that.
Starts off
Like,
as a noob
he
that's
did
out of
definitely
place,
grow,
and
man.
I thought he was gonna end up in the noob pussy
I thought
category.
Parasite
Then
wasn't
it
that...
turned out he was genetically
It was
altered,
like...
and you see
I
how
liked
that
it, but it wasn't
impacts
as
him
hype as,
psychologically,
like,
and how he changes
everyone
his
seems to make it out to
throughout
be.
the entire
In my
series.
opinion.
That's great. Someone like Mob from Mob Psycho.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
this dude to
Incredible.
death. Definitely in the pro category.
Definitely.
Because this dude goes from point A to Z, and we see it. He
Yeah,
starts
yeah.
off as a guy that's stuck in his shell, but through meeting people like Reagan, like meeting people like the Body Improvement Club.
The Body
he
Improvement
begins to
Club's so
change himself,
sick, yeah.
evolve as a person, and we begin to see him do that in every step. Someone like Yusuke, the main character of Yu Yu Hakusho, who in episode
I still need
1
to
is
watch
a
that.
selfish bully, but through his friends, through his journey, he develops a reason to fight. He becomes a completely different character by the end of the series, despite the fact that he acts similar. His mental state is entirely different. He goes from someone who's unhappy with his present self to someone who's happy with his present self. That is the ultimate growth. So all characters like this that just have amazing character development in themselves, they fall into the pro category.
Cool.
They don't necessarily shred the envelope, as I mentioned. They don't push things even further beyond. That wasn't
No.
a reference to Goku being a god tier protagonist, by the way. Just, you know, just to make sure that's clear. I don't want that taken out of context or anything.
Okay.
People will be like, wait a second, is Lux actually like Goku? No. Okay, he's aight. But
He's
no.
aight.
Now, there's another type of very important baselines when it comes to a protagonist. Many stories focus, instead of on characters, it focuses more on the world. The setting is extremely important, and in order to really understand the setting, it's seeing how the setting affects the different characters that
Yes.
said setting. For example, the world building in Hunter x Hunter is fantastic.
Yes, it is.
And you
I
see
love
that
it.
This psychologically traumatizing world, especially in the Chimera Ant arc, completely changes Gon's
My manager at
character.
work
From the
is
beginning of the
just
Chimera
about
Ant
to
arc
finish the
to end
Hunter x
of
Hunter
Chimera Ant
anime.
arc, we
He's
see an
loved it.
entire freaking calculus graph of Gon's personality changing. That's just
Mate,
an
yeah.
amazing way to talk about how
opposite of him and
the
Meruem
world
as well was
building
really
actually
interesting. I
is.
love
World
it.
building is so good, we see how the world affects
Oh, the Nen
characters,
system and everything.
changes and morphs the characters into different beings purely due to the setting. Now, this won't necessarily get me to put the protagonist in the god tier, but I'll definitely put it in the pro category because that's something that's crucial when it comes to a protagonist. For example, I think Goblin Slayer is an okay anime. It
I
didn't
like
blow
it.
my mind by any means, but I do think that
Movie was a bit
Goblin
annoying.
Slayer, the protagonist, is a pro tier protagonist. How the world
He is class.
changed this dude. How Goblin
Yeah,
developed this
you
disgusting,
learn stuff about him. He's
horrible,
interesting. You want to know like what happened when he was growing up and that. Yeah.
Turned Goblin Slayer into the Goblin Slayer we know. Another great example of this is from an anime that's currently airing, Subaru from ReZero. Based
Oh,
on the
mate, yeah.
conditions he
That
had
second
from
season,
his
he's
ability to return
growing,
from
man.
death. How every time he dramatically dies, he comes back to life, where no one's allowed to know about this power.
Yeah,
and
he's
he
the only one
drives
that
it back.
remembers. It's like,
That's
what?
everything you could want as a baseline for a good protagonist. So, this is the product of the world category. How the world morphs.
So wild,
And
dog.
we've discussed personalized growth in a protagonist, such as basic character development, and I think these are requirements to a good protagonist, which is why now we get to move on to the God tier category. The God tier
Here we go.
category
Guts has
does
got to be
not
on this.
have
Got to,
groups.
because
You've noticed in the noob tier,
mate.
I've had the normie group, like Naruto,
he's absolutely
Sasuke,
incredible as a character, man.
I had
I'm
the
loving
Zelda
Berserk.
group, like
I'm absolutely
Kirito
loving
and
Berserk.
Issei and Yugi and Sung Jin Woo from Solo Leveling
Oof.
is another example. I had the moral Jesus category, like Deku, Jonathan Joestar, Shiro Emiya, etc. The pro category has every protagonist that serves the purpose of the baseline of what a protagonist needs to be. These are pro, wait for it,
Protagonist.
protagonists. I had to do that at least
Yeah,
once
yeah,
this
yeah.
episode. I'm sorry. So I'm not going to give them brownie points for fulfilling the bargain basement amount of things that they actually have to do. The brownie points go to the characters that don't fit into a certain group of requirements, but are the group of requirements. Examples of god tier protagonists in anime and manga. The first ones to always pop in my mind are Lelouch from Code
Oh,
Geass
mate.
and Light Yagami from Death Note. Two fantastically written characters.
Yeah,
They have the characters,
absolutely
they
phenomenal.
have how
So
the world
clever,
and the
so
setting
complex.
changes them throughout the entire thing. But they're also extremely niche and individually crafted characters, each with their own incredible philosophies and psychologies, where you can get in their head and try to see things from
Yeah,
their
like sometimes you're a bit like, I shouldn't really be agreeing with some of these things they're saying.
As far as anime protagonists go, these two absolute brainiacs are everything you could want in a protagonist. In fact, another way to know that they are god tier protagonists is because the entire series that they're in would fall apart without them.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah.
The protagonist is almost unnecessary to the greater story. You can still have an appreciation for the story if the protagonist was not present. Naruto,
Yeah.
without Naruto, it would probably be better.
Still would work,
My
yeah.
favorite arcs in Naruto were the arcs where Naruto wasn't around, and that's just as an example. But it's like that for so many stories. My favorite arcs in My Hero Academia are the ones without Deku.
Yeah.
The entire story is standing upon the shoulders of the protagonist, and all the twists and turns are because you get into the protagonist's head and see how he thinks. Boom! That is a god.
Yeah, I agree. That's very, very good point,
There's
yes.
another anime protagonist that recently joined these ranks, and that would be Eren Yeager from the Attack
Oh.
on Titan manga. Because this dude goes from what I would consider a noob protagonist
Yep,
in
definitely.
season 1 to an easy god tier
Oh my
protagonist in
God.
the final season, where I think that the current manga art is legit being held on the shoulders of Eren, and how fantastic of a character he became. But
Yeah,
no
man.
spoilers, never fear. Now, as far
Cool.
as stories like isekai anime, you have so many examples of funny protagonists. If it's a horror-based isekai like ReZero, you have
Konosuba?
someone like Subaru. If it's a comedy-based isekai,
There you
like
go.
Overly Cautious Hero, you have someone like the Overly Cautious Hero, who's hilarious. But I genuinely do believe that Kazuma from Konosuba is a god-tier protagonist. He's
Hell
so
yeah.
good. Aside
Yeah, the
from
show
being
wouldn't work
funny,
without
he's
him,
the
yeah.
most realistic isekai protagonist I've ever seen. He's quirky. He has a personality. He's not a self-insert. He's funny. He's horny on main. He's an advocate of true gender equality. You can start to get in his head and predict things that he's going to do based on his persona alone, not based on a trope. How he
Yeah.
makes friends, how he loses friends, how he gets framed, and how he frames. He's not a good guy. He's just a guy trying to get by. And I love that. He's not overpowered, but he's the protagonist. A lot of the amazing fights he ends up winning falls down to sheer dumb luck.
Yeah,
and a
man.
great
When he
team.
steals that
I
guy's
love
sword,
that.
it's like,
And
what?
as far as comedic protagonists go, I think that Saitama holds the belt as the king in this category, and he is also a god tier protagonist. Aside from having character development, which he does throughout the story.
Again, story wouldn't really work without him.
He's really here for a completely different reason. He is a subversion of everything you know in a protagonist, but he makes it work. Aside from being completely hilarious, he also manages to tell an incredibly deep psychological story. He's a guy who could never accomplish his dream. He's a man that, despite being completely hilarious and overpowered by every conventional usage of the term, he is a man that's suffering. And this story is telling two stories simultaneously. On the one hand, you have monsters trying to destroy the planet or whatever, and how will the planet survive? You have Saitama to save the day. And on the other hand, you have Saitama's perspective, which completely veers the entire entire story forward. Every event that takes place that we perceive as a threat from the perspective of every character immediately becomes a meme from the perspective of Saitama, the One Punch Man. He alone changes our view of every single event that takes place in the story's timeline, and that cannot be forgotten. Obviously, there are a lot of god-tier protagonists, and this isn't just a list of my top 10 anime protagonists, but as simple examples of some, Spike from Cowboy Bebop, especially his finale, Mitsuku Emiya from Fate Zero,
so sick.
The ultimate Machiavellian character, to the complete opposite of that by the end of the story, Guts from Berserk, who doesn't fill the role of the hero, but instead fills the role of a demon fighting
he is so interesting,
all
man.
these hordes of monsters attacking them, but struggling against destiny itself, how he's fated for a certain demise, but he will not stop fighting and struggling against it. Someone like Dio from JoJo's, who's obviously the protagonist, okay? He was around in part 1, he caused the events of part 2, he's around in part 3, he caused the events of part 4, his son's the main dude in part 5, he's around in part 6, he's around in part 7, I'm sure he'll still show up in part 8, was a meme I made before, but then he actually showed up, so I mean, hey, it looks like I'm a prophet. Dio's obviously the protagonist of JoJo's, okay?
If you say
the
so.
reason why he's so great is because people don't realize that he is a protagonist.
Yeah.
He's really great because he kicks dogs, and as an advocate...
He's great because he kicks dogs, yeah, cool.
I think I'm just going to end off with one final god-tier protagonist, in my opinion. And I know a lot of people are going to hate me for this one, which is why I saved this one for last. Because when it comes to talking about people like Guts, or Saitama, or Eren, or Lelouch, everyone's going to agree. People are going to be like, alright.
Everyone just nods like together,
Is a god-tier protagonist. One Piece is a political story. It's also hilarious and Luffy's funny, but trying to explain the story of One Piece to someone else, you will end up talking politics for the majority of the time. And when it comes to politics, I have a basic philosophy. Any extreme is wrong. Fact. Period. The end. I don't want to hear any of this. You're far right, you're an asshole. You're far left, you're an asshole. There needs to be some sort of balance.
Mid-ground, yeah.
Now when it comes to One Piece, you have extremists all around. Akainu is an extremist, an authoritarian monster. And you have Blackbeard, another extremist, an anarchist monster. And you have so many different characters and different political and philosophical themes flying around when Luffy is the dead center. Luffy is a man that believes in fighting for justice, like Akainu, but he's a man that believes in freedom, like Blackbeard. The reason why he's so amazing as far as
so many different views
is because he is the perfect counter to every force in the One Piece world. He's not a product of the world per se. He's his own person that follows his own moral code. And I don't want to make this a whole massive Luffy video. I just wanted to do this because I know people in the comments are going to be saying, oh my god, you put Luffy in God tier and you put Naruto in Noob tier. Yes, I did. And you know what? I have a solution for you if you're upset. It's easy. All you gotta do is lean a little bit forward and suck your own dick. Have yourself a most wonderful evening. Like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed this. And remember to stay weird, man.
Oh my god. Well, I'm glad I checked that out. Like, it's so weird, because I definitely wanted to. I remember wanting to, and then, yeah, moving on. So thank you, Vince, for, suggest that. Like I said, Vince is a patron of mine. He gets his name at the end of every video, and obviously, like, if you guys support the channel that way, I see your name pop up with a suggestion in the comments, then it's obviously going to stand out more to me, and I am more likely to, check it out, just saying. That was a good video. I like that. That was cool. Yeah. Whenever I check out an old Nooks one, it takes me back. I feel like checking out the Fairy Tail one as well. No one understands Fairy Tail, because I dropped off on Fairy Tail a while ago, and it's, I don't know. But anyway, thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of your video, link is in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is all I ask to support the channel. Greatly appreciated. Thank you guys very much for that. And thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe, and leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys next time.